I want to tell you a story. This is something that happened near where I live, and I live in the northeast of the USA. It's very cold here in winter. You have to imagine this, I know, being in Hong Kong. It was snowing, and a little boy, a 5-year-old, wanted to go out in the snow. And his mom said, well, you can go out, but you have to put on your warm jacket. And at that, he threw a tantrum. He was crying, he was shouting, I won't put it on. He was misbehaving in every way. Now, in Hong Kong, it might be that a child has to wait till his or her mom is ready to go out with them. But the key point is that the child has to learn to wait. And here, this little boy got very upset. But then all of a sudden, he did something very surprising. He got up, didn't say a word. He went to his room. He stayed there for a few minutes, came out, very calmly put on his snowsuit, and went out to play. And in Hong Kong, you might say, he waited for his mom, and then they both went out. This little boy told his mom, who said, hey, what just happened? He said, well, my guard dog got very upset, so I had my wise owl talk to it and calm it down. This is brain science for a 5-year-old. The wise owl is a way of talking about the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain above the eyes, just behind the forehead. This is the brain's executive center. This is where we comprehend, where we plan, where we make good decisions, where children learn. But it's in constant tension with the emotional centers, which are between the ears, because the brain is designed for emergency. In an emergency, a survival emergency, the emotional centers take over the executive center, the wise owl, the prefrontal cortex. One part of the emotional centers, called the amygdala, is the brain's radar for threat. This part of the brain is constantly searching, asking, am I safe? And if it thinks there's an emergency, it can take over the prefrontal cortex and disable it. And the signs of this happening, what we call an amygdala hijack, are 3. You have a very strong negative feeling like anger or fear. It's very quick. And when it's all over, you really regret what you said or did. In early human prehistory, this probably helped us survive. We heard a rustle in the bushes and there was something there that might eat us, so we ran away. It marshals what's called the fight or flight response, where the body instantly shunts blood from the organs and from the brain to the arms and legs, so we can fight or run. But in modern life, this does us no good, because the brain, the amygdala, is responding to a symbolic threat, so like not being treated fairly. So an amygdala hijack means that we react impulsively in the worst way, in a way we regret. There are 2 ways to respond to a situation. One is to react impulsively. The other is to respond thoughtfully. The amygdala responds with impulse, automatic. We do things we're sorry that we did. The prefrontal cortex takes time to think it over and respond in the most effective way. Some define maturity as widening the gap between impulse and response. When you help your kindergarten students manage their impulse and be well behaved, you're helping them become more mature. In science, we call this ability cognitive control. It's the ability to respond not to react. Sometimes it shows up as delaying gratification, the impulse on the spot, for a reward that will come later. It means pursuing your goals despite setbacks, inhibiting impulse, being able to concentrate and ignore distractions. This is something every student needs to learn. It means being calm, being clear, and for a student, it means being ready to learn. One of the ways this is tested, this is a test you can use with 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds. The research was done at Stanford University. One by one, 4 or 5-year-olds are brought in to a room, a big juicy marshmallow put in front of them. And the experimenter says to the child, "You can have this marshmallow now, but if you wait till I run an errand and don't eat it till I get back, you can have 2 then." And then she leaves. About a third of the children can't wait. They impulsively eat that marshmallow on the spot. About a third wait the endless minutes until the person returns, and then they get 2. The payoff comes 14 years later when they're graduating and about to go to university. The students are tracked down, and it turns out the ones who grabbed compared to the ones who waited still can't delay gratification in pursuit of their goals. That's what this is a test of. They don't get as along as well with their other students. And on academic achievement tests, they do much more poorly compared to the students who waited. Remember, being able to manage your emotions helps you be a good learner. In New Zealand, they tested cognitive control in students between ages 4 and 8. And then they tested them again in their mid-30s. And it turned out that having good cognitive control as a child predicted that you would have a higher income level and be more healthy than students who had poor cognitive control as children. Most important, children who learned to get better cognitive control between the ages of 4 and 8 did just as well in their 30s as those children who had it all along. What this means is that this ability to manage your impulse can be taught. And you, as a kindergarten teacher, are beginning that. And it's a great gift to give your children.